All right. Presented by Under Armour and Sleeper Fantasy. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou.
Yeah.
I was in a good mood.
Yeah.
And then the Warriors happened. Losing 113-112 on a last-minute shot from Paul George. Well, they had 8 seconds left on the clock. Warriors got to run one more play. And the thing that's frustrating is that's the first time they took the lead all the game. They were destroying them the entire way. I don't even know where I want to start on this one, to be honest with you. Like, third game they've blown 20-plus point lead in the second half. I think that's correct.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if I can blame anyone other than Steph on this one, right?
Yeah, pretty rough. That's a great picture that Brick Muse put up there. I actually thought the team played pretty well pretty much throughout the entire game. I think if you'd had to pinpoint two things, Sam, to me that really shit the bed down the end there, I thought Steph was – I thought he was playing his point guard role well. He made a bunch of shots at the end of the first half and kind of ran out of gas. And
he just wasn't hitting shots.
Wasn't good enough, yeah, in the end of the second. And then the other thing was – and I tweeted this in real time, and I've loved Podziemski. He was great today, but you can't get a stop for the last 5 minutes of game. You're just playing essentially from behind. And when I talk about you're playing from behind, I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about they were just chasing guys for the last 5 minutes of the game. I just felt like that's somewhere where you just got to put Kuminga out there. I know he's not a great decision maker. He's not a great shooter, right? Maybe he'll do some stupid, but at least he's got some size out there so that you don't have Steph and Podziemski just chasing guys over and over and over, giving up easy buckets. I don't think they got to stop for 5 straight minutes at the end. So, look, man, I think it's pretty easy to blame Steph tonight for the shooting. I also think Steve Kerr should have just made it easier for the guys to play defense. So those two were the biggest things to me, Sam, because I thought everyone else on this team played pretty well today.
Yeah, the Clippers finally realized that they were bigger than the Warriors at every position and played as such going forward. That was kind of the big thing I noticed. Steph, they were up 10 when they took him out at the end of the third. Not the end of the third. Let's say 2.5 minutes left in the third.
Yep.
And then the Clippers pushed it all the way back to 2 points. I want to say, you can't take Steph off and have that happen, but the game ended. Steph played 37 minutes.
It's a lot.
Oh, man.
It should be enough.
Yeah. Should he have played 38 or 39? Maybe. Maybe they should have chased the game harder. Maybe the coaching staff should have.
Wednesday.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But that also kind of speaks to, I don't know, man. You need 40 minutes from Steph. December 2nd game against the Clippers. Not great. To your point,
the Clippers are about the same as the Warriors. Right?
They are, but and that kind of speaks to it. They're both playing at best quality right now. That's what we're looking at. Not great. Pulling up the box score just so we can have something to react to real quick. I think your Pods point's interesting because I thought Pods was excellent tonight. No other way around it. Like, he's way ahead of schedule. Like, I liked him coming out of the draft, and I'm surprised how good he is. He also played the most minutes outside of Steph Curry tonight, which is interesting to say the least. And to your point, like, they just need more size, man.
That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Well, I don't know. He was good today, but
it's not a Podziemski issue more so than it wasn't a Chris Paul issue. Like, you can't just consistently close with 2 small guards out there. It's not going to work.
It's a Kuminga issue. It's a Wiggins issue. Wiggins didn't play tonight, of course.
Because you fucking figure your finger out. Like, that's another issue right there, right?
Yeah,
like,
but he hasn't closed half the games this year because he's
been good enough the last week. Like, he would have closed today. Like, have him out there defensively. He's been good.
He's
enough
played
lately.
2 good games all season. Like,
he would have closed. But he would have closed today, and that would have been better defensively than what they were doing out there.
Why do you think he would have closed? What this season makes you think that you're more likely to get a good Wiggins game than a bad one?
Because guys like PG, Kawhi, and Harden aren't walking in the bucket. every
Fair.
single possession. Like, that's at least he's doing that better than Potts. And I started by saying Potts played really well tonight. It's just you got to get away from the tiny ball, Steve. Like, it's not even small ball anymore. Yeah. It's you got to get away from the tiny ball. And guess what, Sam? If Chris Paul is healthy tonight, does he close? Right, right? Does he close?
Sure.
He closes. Right. And this, I bet you the same thing would have happened. It's just, well, maybe not. Maybe they get a couple better looks on offense. Maybe they do close this game out. But Steve has done this consistently, and he did this in FIBA. You can't do this, man. It's consistently not working. Positive.
Well, I do agree.
37 is too much.
I do agree with you. It's a roster issue. If you can't get your 6'8" wings on the floor because you don't trust them, either you need to figure out how to make them work, or you need to move them for other guys with that size. Because to the broader point, can't have a lineup of 4 guys who are 6'3" out there. And I've seen it more from the Warriors than I've seen from any NBA team in eternity, honestly. So, that's kind of the bigger issue. You know, Kuminga, I thought he was okay today, but it's hard to even say he was good or bad. He didn't play enough for us to necessarily say he sucked. You know, he also didn't play enough for us to be like, you have to put him in there. He's dominant. You know, he was whatever tonight, right?
Agreed.
Like that's another way to put it. And I think the broader point on Kuminga is, you know, decision needs to be made on him sooner than later, right? Like that's really what it comes down to for me with Kuminga. I came into this year saying I was bullish on Chris Paul working as a second unit guy who could calm them down, but Kuminga was going to be the swing piece for this team. If he turns into Harrison Barnes or just another Wiggins type where you're like, this is a two-way wing I can trust, then this team has a lot of upside to it. If we get more of the normal, or if we get more of what we've seen from Kuminga the last 2 years, which is moments of interesting, but nothing consistent enough to earn a coach's trust, then it's pointless. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all pointless because it all kind of comes back to, is he going to be that guy, or all right, let's move him. He's significantly better than Wiseman, but it's like the same concept as like, all right, we're in year 3 and you still don't know what you want to do with him.
I think this is what the show
figure it out, or
keep
it moving. You know,
I think you hit it right. I think actually this is what the show should be about. This game really, really exposed the fact that, and it may not be his fault, or it might be his fault, or it might be both, that Steve Kerr doesn't trust Kuminga to close a game like this, and that's a problem. 100%, that's a problem for this team. Because I'm looking at the box score. You have it up. He played 16 minutes. He's a +5. Thought he was fine defensively. Made a 3. Had a big dunk. Other than that, like you said, didn't really do much. But again, he only played 16 minutes. What did Moody do with 32 tonight? Played really well. I just think when something like that happens, then it's either a Steve Kerr issue, which is, to me, like, you just play him. He should be playing down the stretch because he's big enough to play defensively. Or, and Steve maybe is saying this to us, Steve is saying, he's not good enough. He's just not good enough. When your team has to play Podziemski, who, again, I feel like I have to say this for the 4th time, was awesome tonight, but he's a 6'3" guard. You already have a 6'3" guard.
6'4.5", buddy.
And he's getting destroyed out there by Kawhi and PG. And it's not his fault. What is he supposed to do? Right? And now you've got Steph who switches, and then now who switches, and now Pods has to go. It's the same thing. There's no difference. Both guys are getting cooked. Now Steph has to basically grind it out like it's a playoff game against a LeBron team, like those Cavs teams. What are we doing there? That's an easy situation to put Kuminga in, and Steve Kerr doesn't do it. It costs them the game because they don't get a stop. And I think, whatever, a game is a game. They're 9-11. Whatever, maybe they get back to 500 at some point. But to what you're saying, a larger point about this season, if you can't even get Kuminga to play more than 16 minutes in this type of game, what are we doing? What are we doing? None of this shit. This is terrible, right? None of this shit matters. I guess even if they win this game, he can't get more than 16 minutes. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It doesn't look well on him. Doesn't look well on the coaching staff. Maybe. I think I'd probably say it looks worse on the coaching staff. right? Sam, I don't know if you agree. I think it looks worse on him, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I
Not
just
great.
want to set the record straight. Pods at the pre-draft combine measured 6'3.75" without shoes.
So he's
That means
6'4.5" out there.
means he's 6'5" in the NBA. That
Yeah.
means he's look, man. Same measurements as Poole and Dante DiVincenzo. Fine for a combo guard. I actually think the bigger issue is, to your point, it's you have 4 guys who are 6'5" and under on the floor. You have 2 of them. You're gonna have if you want to go Pods over Moody, that's fine. They better be by 2 6'8", 6'9" guys.
Yeah.
Stuff. And then the Clippers, obviously, with all their wing depth and size, like it's always going to be a bad matchup if you're going with 6'4", 6'5" guys versus those guys, right?
Okay.
So, and yeah, the chat's saying it. They had 3. Moody's a little bigger than that, but he's maybe an inch taller than Pods. He obviously plays longer because he has significantly bigger wingspan, everything like that. Clay, same size as Moody, 6'5"-ish, fine size, but if he's your power forward, it's a problem, like all these things go back to the same conversation. So I would like to see them play Kuminga more. I really would. I feel like if you were to ask me right now, I think he's getting traded at the deadline no matter what.
They should.
Yeah, because they need the player in his role to be a guy who closes these games. They need a wing. They need a guy who's 6'7", 6'8", who's a front court player who they can trust on both ends of the floor. And if Steve's never going to play him, you got to move in a different direction.
Right.
And the reason I say he needs to play is you got 25 games to figure it out, right? Something like that. And that's like 25 games to quote unquote showcase him too. So it's 2 birds, 1 stone in some ways. He shouldn't only be playing 60 minutes with Wiggins out. One way or another, we need to know, I guess is the way I want to put it. You need to know whether he can take that step, which feels very unlikely at this stage. It's like on life support. You're like, is it going to happen?
Really is.
Probably
Really
not.
is.
Probably not at this stage. I was very optimistic entering the season. Preseason had me super optimistic, and we're here in December, and it's basically last year all over again. There's no other way around it. It's that sort of thing. So you might as well throw him out there and see what it is. Because you know what, with him, at least he can physically match up with Paul George and Kawhi.
Exactly. That's the thing. And by the way, Sam a couple minutes ago was saying, you've got a bad team in the chat. You've got a bad team when it's a carousel of blaming. I don't even know who I want to blame it on. It's just everyone. I just point fingers at everyone, right? So there were some.
Yeah. This isn't look, Tuesday night was easy. Steve made an insane decision. There was no other angle to go at it. Tonight it's just I don't know, man. It's kind of the whole thing. It's the whole roster not coming together.
Exactly. It and it's multiple times, right? This is they did the same thing to OKC. They're up 20 against OKC, and they lose the lead. I do have one take, which maybe I'll kind of let them off the hook a little bit, Sam. So, but it is really hard in today's NBA to hold a 20-point lead for 3 quarters. I don't blame this team that much. When you go up by 20 in the first half, in today's NBA, where just, people shoot a ton of threes, guys get hot, bad shooters make shots, then bad shooters don't make shots. There's a ton of bullshit fouls. Games are really long. You know what I mean? And then you throw in the fact that the Warriors aren't a great defensive team. I don't think I'm that mad tonight that they blow a 22-point lead. It was the crunch time way they actually play basketball was more infuriating. To me, them blowing this lead it's not that bad. It's just I think it's just kind of the NBA. I think it's a little fluky that they've now gone up so much in multiple games, but I think it's kind of fluky.
I think the only reason you're not mad is it's 4 p.m. You have the rest of your evening ahead of you. You're going to go have a nice dinner, might go have some fun, going to enjoy some college football.
I am.
This game happens at 7 p.m. at night, and you're on live stream at 10 at night. You're infuriated because I was talking about this with my friend Eric. It's like you win some, you lose some, but having to sit on stream late at night when I have to wake up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, no matter what, just makes me question life. Just makes me question what I'm doing with my time. You know,
what are we doing here?
I want to read this out because Isaac, I think, with the take of the night, the take of the day, I wish they were straight up awful. It would be easier to not watch, but they have such good moments where they look like they're the best team, and then absolute bonehead moments, and all for a total sum of mediocrity. That's the worst. You're not losing enough to stop watching and not winning enough to enjoy. I literally had more peace 3 seasons ago when the entire team sucked and they won 10% of their games. Yeah, I mean, there's truth to that. When Steph broke his hand and the season was over, I wasn't mad when they lost because I didn't think they'd ever win a game, you know? Like I was watching Kai Bowman. It was a joke, you know? But this team, you keep thinking they're going to turn the corner and then they rip you. It's so infuriating.
There's no end to that corner. Corner, there's no end. We've got guys saying they're in Prague right now. It's 1 a.m. We've got guys saying that they're India. I think that's Paradox saying it's India. It's 5 a.m. So, you know, we've got it easy, Sam, but I'm with you. It feels like a little bit of a replay too, right? It's a little bit of a replay from last season.
This has been 3 of the last 4 seasons. If we're being honest, in the post Clay Achilles, in the post pandemic, post COVID Warriors, 3 out of the 4 seasons they've been a mediocre playing team. And then 1 year they caught lightning in a bottle. And this is why, like, out of left field, I probably came on hard on Wiggins to start. But I just don't know that he's different than Jordan Poole. For most of his career, kind of a joke, kind of unserious. You know, talented but unserious. Then for 1 season, he lived up to his potential. Made an all-star team, got a lot of money, looked amazing. But I'm just sitting here and I'm going, he has the skill set the team needs. He's talented enough in the sense of when he's really locked in, he can guard the best players and he can give you 15 to 20 points off ball. He can rebound the ball. He's not a shot creator, but he can do a ton of winning things. To your point, if he's locked in, he's the player who's shutting down Paul George or Kawhi so this doesn't get to a final possession game. Everything there is correct. And I'm just sitting here, I'm going, you know what? You've been a Warrior 5 seasons. He did that for 1. Every other year, it's excuses. It's I jammed my finger in the car. It's stepping out of bounds on threes. It's a lot of stuff where I'm just like, look, man, if there's an opportunity to upgrade, I'm not opposed, you know? I'm not opposed in that way. And to your point, like, I'm probably being overly pessimistic on the guy. I'm probably, for a guy who didn't play, I probably shouldn't be talking about him so much. But
talk about why he shouldn't play is kind of the point, though. I mean, what are we doing here?
And let's be honest, for the first 3 quarters, for the first 3.5 quarters, when they were playing and last game, they look good in ways they don't look good when he's on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, the ball moves, there's higher effort. The thing I love about Podziemski and Moody and Saric, to differing levels, they understand their role and they play so hard. You know? They do the whole, all right, Steph and Dre are the center of this ecosystem, and our job is to just play our asses off, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And it works up until their physical limitations catch up to them over time, right?
I agree.
But it just makes me frustrated at guys like Wiggins and Kuminga who have the physical tools but don't bring. I mean, if Kuminga and Wiggins brought the energy that Moody and Podziemski brought every night, I think this team's a top 3 seed right now.
Yeah,
it's not even a question.
I mean, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really. I'm just sitting here, I'm going, the guys who have the skill sets you want don't show up half the time. And the guys who are too small, bless their heart, they play their asses off, but they can't effort their way to 6'8".
Exactly. There you go. That's it right there, right? Which is kind of the problem with this team. I'm watching the Orlando Magic, who everyone talks about as one of the most league pass friendly teams, and they've got this dude named Jalen Suggs who can't shoot the ball. He came in the NBA, couldn't shoot the ball, but he's really just efforted himself into, and he's always been an elite field guy, but he's not efforted himself into being an elite defensive player. One of the best glue guys in the NBA, and the Magic are what? They're going to be a top 4 seed in the East this season. They're already like 14-6 or something crazy like that. Who could have saw that coming? So it's just like there's guys in the NBA. Am I wrong?
What I was going to say, but what do they have? They got like a 6'9". They got 2 6'9", 6'10" wings. Who are stars, man?
Yeah, Franz and Paolo. But
they play like it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm jury's out on Paolo for me still. But a story for another pod. I'm just saying. I think there are guys in the league here that have consistently showed that effort. And you talked about Moody and Podziemski, and just we haven't seen that with. So again, it's like I don't know. Do you blame Steve Kerr for Kuminga not playing? But Kuminga's never really shown you that he should be hosting a game like this over Podziemski, and Moody's now played his way into those minutes, right? Like there's just no chance now that Moody is ever going to ride the pines when someone like Wiggins and CP3 comes back. Now it's probably going to be Kuminga that sits. He's probably sitting for entire games. And another thing is like, do you think that maybe Trayce Jackson-Davis should have played tonight? Maybe, I don't know, but it's just this team is just so. Yeah, go ahead. Take it away from me.
And I was going to say, like, another guy, Dario Saric, who does have the size. He's 6'10", but too slow. Not athletic. You know, like, he's right. They're stretching his role just because, again, he plays hard and smart. I don't know. Everything to me comes down to the athletic two-way wing types that they have, which is Wiggins and Kuminga. One of them has shown in the past he can be that guy, but too often, too not. We get Minnesota Wiggs. Like his last game was probably his best game of the season, so I know that's on everyone's mind. But go watch the whole season. It's a whole lot of poutine Jeff Green. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of all-star two-way Wiggs. It's a lot of mediocrity for most of the year. And then Kuminga, to your point, we keep hoping for a step. You know, it's like at a certain point, they're just going to call it a day and move on because, you know, he's going to be extension eligible and you're going to lose him for nothing. So you might as well get something, right?
At some point, they're going to have to make a decision. And it looks like that decision is going to come February, whenever the deadline is. February. So yeah, they'll need to make a decision then. But right now, I don't imagine this team changes too much, right? Maybe they win this game with Wiggins tonight, but
I wish we had we're going to get our guy Jason Dumas up here to decide talk a little Warriors, Eagles, and a few. But that trade deadline decision's coming when those two teams meet in the NFC Championship game anyway. So anyway, you want to pay some bills real quick?
Yeah, let's roll. All right, so today's Light Years podcast is brought to you by Sleeper Fantasy. Today, if you had taken Paul George and Draymond Green overs on points and rebounds, you would have won. Hey, if you bet on the Draymond Green over on three-pointers, more kudos to you, right? So if you think you know basketball, then try to turn your basketball knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players with more stats than any other daily fantasy app. Just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats. And again, if you had predicted and bet on Draymond Green's overs, you could have won up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you will get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Before we get to the next one, if anyone wants to speak, hit the button. We'll take a couple goon calls in the meantime.
And Light Years Podcast is brought to you by our guy, Under Armour Curry brand. Steph Curry makes you believe you can do anything. And the Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce grip and stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite player. And rep his shoes on and off the court. The Curry 11s are perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet, locked in, no matter what you do on the court, stopping your tracks with dual density UA flow, cushioning, and traction. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage and rep UA wherever you go. Do your thing, change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curries, available now at currybrand.com. Look at that.
Chat says, will his shoe make us shoot 1 for 11? No, his shoe will make you break the all-time three-point record and be one of the greatest players ever.
Ooh, spicy, and also true.
I'm not into the one of my biggest issues with this team is they need Steph to be an absolute god to get a win. Steph tonight did not shoot the ball well in the second half. He still had 22 points and 11 assists. He didn't really turn the ball over either, so that's kind of where it's. I don't think he played particularly well because he's capable of playing a lot better. But it's just fucking annoying that you need 38 and 7 from Steph at age 35 to compete. I mean, maybe that's the point. They're a mid roster. That's what it takes, So
I agree. Do you want me to do the third one before we get to the goons and move on?
No. Let's get to a couple of goons and then we'll do it soon going forward.
Okay. All right. Oh, we got Dumas maybe. All right. Oh, we got goons. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
What's up, y'all? It's been a minute since I've been up on here. I think the last time I was on here, we were 5-1. Me and Sam were like, "Does this look like a contender to you?" We're
bro. The Kool-Aid was flowing, man. Oh. I broke out one of my nicest bottles of wine. I was just like, "It's happening." They're getting number 5. I was on another aisle, little early in the season, maybe.
Me too. I was high. I was high as well. But yeah, I'm in Prague right now, and I was catching the game. I have League Pass on my phone. I was like, "Oh, we're up 20. Let me just catch, the last little bit of this game." It's like we're gonna close out. I have a feeling we will. And yeah, witnessed that last bit. It was really, really kind of depressing because it was just like how you said. When you're up at 1 a.m. and you see these type of losses, it can get to you. You can question life. But I was going to say, who do you guys have on your trade machine right now?
The Tigers?
I mean, I feel like we're back in 2011 where there's there's a new trade target every week, and this is Pascal Siakam week, my man.
Masai, stay on the phone, man. Stay on the phone.
That's crazy.
Please. Poutine Jeff Green, let's take a walk. It has been real. My man has not played a game he missed 2 games because of a jammed finger? Is it jammed? Is it broken? What is it?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
All I know is he ain't playing. The thing is, he's been playing well, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and so I don't know what to say. Do they win with him tonight? Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
But that's the bet. What now? I sound like Fitz. The best.
They don't play until Wednesday. You could put Steph and Dre back in. I was like,
"Oh, that's how everyone's fed up with
those rotations."
That's how everyone's overly fed up. Go enjoy Prague, my friend.
We'll do, my brothers. Peace.
Yes, sir. All right, man. From Prague.
By the way, everyone, we're gonna be back Monday night. Pod for Tuesday morning. We'll be doing some off-day content where we'll be talking a little of this trades. We might get a little into it. It's early December, but this season, unfortunately, has necessitated that we move up content that we would do in late January to now.
Yeah.
Let's get our guy Dumas up here real quick. I see him. I'm gonna send you.
I'd rather talk Niners Eagles right now anyway. I think it's
we're calling this a sponsored session. You know, we got Dumas in here, the only guy from Philly we respect, the only man from Philadelphia we are okay with. Are you in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, you see Lester over there warming up with a couple other guys.
Uncle Mo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe you should have sent TJD down there if they weren't going to play him today. Not like they were playing any damn defense anyway.
I was listening to the game on the radio driving up, and I lost all service like right when I got into Santa Cruz, and there was like 2.5 minutes left. So obviously I saw the outcome, but I don't really know what happened.
They were too small. The Clippers just mismatch hunted. They basically did what they should have done the first 3 quarters, which was get Kawhi and PG onto smaller guys. So it is what you
watch this game. It's the same game.
Yeah, you've seen this game a few thousand times. So
got it.
Oh, well, I don't want to keep you too long, but how are you feeling about tomorrow's game? Where are we at? How do you handle this as a native Philadelphian in the Bay Area?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. I hate it. So this is the third time. This will be the third time they played the Eagles since I've been covering the team. The first game didn't really matter. It was like week 2 in 21, I believe, in Philly. I believe that was Jalen Hurts' first year starting full time. And the Niners won by like 14.
They hadn't turned the corner then. I remember that. I was like, oh, are these guys? They might not be bad. I kind of thought
it was actually like a pretty good game for 3 quarters. Then the Niners kind of pulled away. I don't like it because I have to remain objective, of course, just for my job, especially on TV. On radio, I can have my takes, but on TV, like it's just inappropriate if I just am completely biased. But it is what it is. I said on air on Thursday, my colleague asked me for my prediction. I predicted the Niners to win. I think the Niners.
That's a hedge.
I think the Niners they want this one more. Like they do. I'm not leaning on it like, the Eagles don't care about this game. That's not what I'm trying to say. But with all the build-up, with everything that happened last year, how much the Niners talk, like they have to prove to themselves too that everything they're saying is true. Like we would have won without if we had Brock Purdy. So I just think they're going to come into this game like really, really, really wanting it. Plus they need it if they want to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is what one of their goals were. They're not going to get it if they lose this game. I will say if they don't win, I think what will that do to the mental? Because
if the Niners can't win this game, they're cooked. I mean, they're done. They're not winning the Super Bowl. It's pretty simple because you've got a tired Eagles team. You're the Niners healthy coming in on 3 days extra rest, right? Like all that stuff. Now you're going to lose the 1 seed. You're going to have to play a couple teams before going into Philly. The Niners got to win.
Honestly,
I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners won the game by 15 points, right? Like that's like maybe I'm not predicting that because Jalen Hurts is the best player on the field, but you've got to win the game. You've got to win the game.
5 best Eagles players. Relax.
No, he's the best player on the field. I mean, he's single-handedly won game. He's the quarterback. Like he's the quarterback. The quarterback is always going to be the best player on the field.
You can put Brock Purdy behind that line, and they're 10-1.
No,
that's not even a question.
That's not true.
That is the best offensive line in the league, man.
That's not true.
With that either. I don't agree with that either.
He's a role player, just like Brock Purdy. Relax.
Jalen Hurts almost outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl on the world's biggest stage.
He did outplay Patrick.
Dude, they have 12 Pro Bowlers.
And the Niners have 12 Pro Bowlers.
Which is why I'm not out here saying Brock Purdy should be the MVP either. I'm just.
The thing is, anytime you play a running quarterback, those guys are going to be the best players on the field. Like we've seen it so many times. We've watched it so many times.
I think isn't having as good as a year as he had last year. He's not, but he's better than a role player for sure.
I think they're, just to clarify my point, they're by far the 2 best teams in the NFL, and Mahomes just is kind of
Right.
the boogeyman who can kind of erase the fact that they're better in most facets of the game. But that's like a 1-of-1 situation. Now, what I think is interesting is you guys think this one matters way more for the Niners. I don't know if I agree. I just don't think this is like a Niners-Cowboys situation where, like, could either of you see the Cowboys beating the Niners? Like, it feels like there's a massive mental edge there. Yeah. I don't know that I buy that just yet. The only way I kind of think whoever wins this, it's probably not going to matter, and it's still going to kind of come down to who's playing better in January. Like, I think if the Niners beat the Eagles, it's not like they have a mental edge on them, and I think vice versa. That's
how much harder is it for the Niners to beat Philly in Philly if you lose?
Well, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I mean?
They don't want to go on the road there.
That's tough.
I agree that this game's not going to matter probably in like 3 weeks because look. Like the Niners have a couple of tough games left. The Eagles have a couple of tough games left. So I think like both teams still have work to do even after this game. So like if the Niners win and then lose to Baltimore or the Eagles lose and then beat the Cowboys, like there's still other things that have to go down. But this game means a lot to them. It does. They're not going to acknowledge it to the cameras. It means a lot to them. Debo talking.
It should. It
means a lot to them. Honestly, it's like low-key, like, for the fan base, for the Niners fan base that I see online, it's your guys' Super Bowl.
It should be. It should be. The Niners aren't champions. It should be a Super Bowl.
At least Andy's owning it. I appreciate it.
I agree.
It just doesn't mean as much to the Eagles. It just really doesn't. Like they want to win. They want to win. I don't want to be that fan who's like, they don't care, whatever. They definitely care, but like they don't have anything to prove. Like, okay, like you're like Hassan said, line that shit up. You guys were crying all year, fucking line it up, and we'll see what happens. Like,
no, I mean it's true. They went to the Super Bowl. The Niners didn't. Nothing matters for them until the final game, honestly.
The difference though is that, because it feels like the Niners are like the Rockets or the Cavs. Like, if we had this, if we had that. The difference though is that the Eagles aren't the Warriors. The Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost. So it's like
that's true.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like, we're both losers here, both teams.
Well, I love what Nick Bosa said. That's probably the first time I've ever said that in my life.
Okay, wow.
I love what Nick Bosa said, but he basically said, he's like, I'm not a big trash talker. I don't really feed into any of that stuff. At the end of the day, neither team finished their goals. They lost in the Super Bowl. We lost in the NFC Championship. We were both losers at the end of the day. Both teams are good enough to win a Super Bowl this year, so we'll see how it plays out. I was like, that is the most level-headed response I've ever heard from him.
It's true. But Sam said both these teams are the two best teams in the NFL. I disagree. I don't think there's any teams that are better than these two teams. I mean, like
I don't either, but I am interested to see what that matchup looks like for you guys in Baltimore on Christmas Day. That'll be pretty fun. You said, we're hurt. Like, when you got a running quarterback, it's just a wild card. Like, you can have the perfect fucking game plan, and then Lamar Jackson just does some Houdini move, and it is like taking 160 yards to pay dirt. So it's always interesting to see how teams defend that. But I agree. I think the Niners and the Eagles are the two best teams in the NFL, and one of those two are probably going to win the Super Bowl, and we'll see who does it. But it's Eagles, bro. Like they played the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Cowboys. They got the Cowboys.
No, they're stacked,
after
man.
the Niners, and then after the Niners, they're in Seattle. So it's like part of me is like I'm not even sure the Eagles have had time to like marinate on this matchup. Like we can't wait. They've been like going through like a brutal stretch.
Yeah, they're kind of sneaking through every game. Meanwhile, the Niners just destroyed Seattle on Christmas, and they're like, Thanksgiving. And it's like, all right, got like 10 days to think about, the big game, right? So
yeah.
It'll be interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait till it's over because the people in my mentions and on my Instagram comments, like, godly, I can't even post.
What are they saying?
You're a man who shows a lot of restraint. I respect you.
Dude. Yeah, hey, I gotta protect the check.
Yeah. I like crazy comments, but I live for the days when the Warriors played OKC. But football is a different, it's a different, world than basketball, right? Football brings out the real crazies, man. The real crazies.
For sure.
Basketball doesn't compare.
It does. What is? Hold on, before y'all let me go.
Yeah.
Predictions. I need scores from both of y'all.
Okay. Andy, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty like 31-21 is probably what I think not the Warriors. The Warriors aren't blowing anyone out. I think the Niners are going to they're going to handle this one pretty clearly, I think. I don't think it's going to be a close game. If it is a close game, I'd probably be pretty scared. I'd probably pick the Eagles, but I don't think it'll be close. I think
I'm going to go lower scoring than that. I think it's going to be a really physical game. I'm going with the Niners also. I'll go 24-14. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be an uglier game than people think. I think both teams are going to walk out of it being like, yeah, we can feeling good is my thought on it.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So
and I said on air 27-13. It's a 2-score game, but I think for about 2 quarters, it'll be close. Niners will eventually pull away. But like Sam says, I don't think this outcome will really be indicative of what will happen later in the season. I think everyone will come out of this matchup being like, all right, Niners took care of business, but these two teams are still legit, and it's going to be a battle if they face each other again.
I also just checked the weather to confirm I was right on it, but it's going to rain. I think it's going to be an ugly.
Not great for the Niners.
It's a physical game. I personally like that type of football. It's my thing, but it's going to be run, unsportsmanlike conduct, just
Dre Greenlaw.
Yo, one more thing before y'all let me go. This was interesting that one of my producers was talking about, and I'm interested to see your guys' thoughts. He said he wouldn't be surprised if either one of the teams or both, probably more likely to do it the Eagles because the Niners need it more standing-wise. Their game plan was kind of vanilla, knowing that they're going to play each other.
Oh, I like that. I agree. I mean, the weather plays into it too. Make this just about who can establish physical dominance. It's like if we can just do zone read run the whole way through, that's like Kyle Shanahan's dream because
that is his dream.
He doesn't have to tip his hand on anything, Right.
Right.
That's the basis of the offense, that sort of thing.
I don't think Kyle's holding anything back, though. No way, not tomorrow.
I think Philly's kind of the same too. They're like, hey man, just gonna run the RPO until you can prove you can stop it in any sort of consistently. So I don't know. I think there's a good point to be made there that kind of ties to my point. I think it's gonna be a physical game. It's not gonna be sneaky. Yeah.
Kyle's gonna let Brock sling that thing. Watch, man. He's gonna watch, and like he did in the NFC Championship game. We're all like, oh my god! Ended up getting Brock hurt, but he trusts the kid, man. He trusts him to sling the rock, which is really cool.
He played 5 minutes. It got him.
Hurt.
That was his third pass of the game.
Walked him with a backup tight end. Holy, what is this? He tore his elbow in half, and then Kyle's like, all right, I would do it again. So you would hurt your team.
Freak plays happen, man. Freak plays
it's
happen.
It's not a freak play. It's freaking. I was coming. Can I guard Hassan Reddick? Come on. What are we doing here, man? That's what. Honestly, if I was Hassan Reddick, I'd be like, I'll do it again. I hope you don't feel bad about it because I'm gonna kill Brock again tomorrow. But I mean,
I hope the Niners run the ball 50 times. That's what I want. I don't know. Not a fan. I want to take football back to the 50s. That's what I want.
I think Kyle would be happy. If they could run it.
Christian McCaffrey MVP game, possibly. This could be his MVP moment.
Dude, that run he had in the championship game, and that was, remember when he ran a guy over for that was.
Yeah, that was nuts.
It's better than talking about the Niner game. Better than talking about the Warrior game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man, and I just got a notification. Alabama beat Georgia?
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the playoff. Alabama is. They pretty much led the whole way. So Yeah.
But it's going to be it's going to be them or Texas, and Texas beat them though earlier this year, so it's up.
No, I beat the number one. Oh yeah, you're right. So are they going to put Georgia and Alabama in the playoff? That's two teams.
Well, the thing is,
always two SEC teams. Baby.
Bama and Texas are like right on the line. They both won their conference championship, but Texas beat them head to head. So Bama still might not get in.
Wow. Oh, that's a good. Wow. You got Michigan.
They should
Washington.
technically. Texas should get that tiebreaker, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Wow, man. All right. Well, fellas, appreciate y'all having me on. Go fucking Birds.
Have a great evening, my man.
Appreciate you, man. Enjoy it.
He's so excited to finally be able to say that.
He was waiting. Like I don't know. He should be in Philly right now. He should be covering the game out there.
In Santa Cruz, we got to see what our guy Guy Santos is up to.
Yeah, that's true.
They might need to play him. He's at least 6'8".
Yeah, they could have used him to maybe foul Kawhi hard tonight. You know.
All right, Tachion, take us back to the misery.
Do I really need to? I'm going to start drinking some whiskey at this point right now. So.
I mean, you can talk about whatever you want at this point. I just assumed we were going Warriors.
All right. First off, Andy, I was old enough to watch the Dynasty. I'm also old enough to see Mitch Henniger and freaking Jock Peterson be in the outfield as starters. Like, let's be real here. Like, the Warriors have been more serious than the Giants the past 10 years.
Oh, come on. Way more. The Warriors are serious. They're serious.
Yes. But I am interested.
Is micro ball the basketball equivalent of putting Jock Peterson in the outfield?
No, that's the equivalent of tank. That's the equivalent of what the Chicago Bulls are doing. Basically, trying to tank, but they're too good to not get a top 3 pick. They will always get like a top 7 pick and just be in mediocrity for all eternity. So, but since now we're talking about trades, I'm curious, like, what's the number of picks you guys are comfortable with giving up with? I mean, we're all comfortable with, like, trading Kuminga, trading CP3,
sure.
and whatnot, but what's the number of picks or what's everyone's comfortable with?
Am I muted?
No, I was going to say this for you, Sam. This one's perfect for you. You're not muted, brother. I hear you. You're
okay. Good. My answer is it depends on who, because every pick you're trading in the future, you got to assume Steph's going to get older. So if it's for a guy who's 27, like Lauri Markkanen, I don't know if he's the guy I want, but if you believe he's Dirk Nowitzki, do you really care about a pick in 2 years because he's still under 30? You know, do you really care about a pick in 4 years because he's 31? That sort of thing. I have a very hard time trading a bunch of future picks for dudes who are in their 30s. Like if Paul George randomly is available and he won't be, it's very hard to sell me on giving up picks when he's 37, Steph is 40, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a big believer in just trade it and figure it out. That hasn't worked for anyone. Not one team has won doing that. It only works if you're doing it when you have a younger window, and those picks are when your guys are, 27 to 32, not when they're like 40 or 44.
I disagree with you, but I actually can't argue. I can't make an argument that would beat yours. But I disagree. Like I would have given Kuminga and picks last season for OG Anunoby.
OG's 27.
No, but your point is like the guys are older, right? Like Steph and Draymond and Clay. Isn't that your point? Or you're saying
my point is the player you're getting.
Like Dame is your point.
I wouldn't trade 4 picks for KD is my point. Even though KD would literally make them the title favorite right now, I would trade 4 picks for Giannis. I'd trade 8 picks for Giannis because he's 28 years old. You know what I'm saying?
But who's the guy that the Warriors shouldn't trade for? that's older, and I can't even think of who that was.
I mean, I don't think it would have been like James Harden's a prime example, right? Like,
sure, okay, yeah, right.
Oh god, that's just the disgusting thought of Harden on this team.
Who, by the way, kind of flipped the game today, which is also disgusting.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's still. I don't want to talk about it.
Scrap that from the record books, producer.
Yep.
DeMar DeRozan from Mike in the chat. Yeah, I mean that's another guy that's like, there's no way that the Warriors are going to trade for him. Look at that. What you got? What is that? Is that what kind of whiskey is that? That has to be whiskey.
Yeah, I told you it was whiskey. I don't know. I don't remember the brand, but I could probably figure it out eventually.
All right, man. Oh, do you have a Giants take? Did you come in with a? Did you have a?
The Giants take?
Reese Hoskins.
Don't, please don't. It's probably you're probably right, but also I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed this year, or not disappointed because we kind of see. I think we're going to have another miserable, mediocre season again.
All right, that's good enough.
That's what we do. That's what we do around here.
Cheers, mate.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir. Before we get to the next one, by the way, Visa, who said he would leave this show because it's 1 a.m. and probably wants to get some sleep, but still on talking about Masai staying on the phone. So shout out to the like.
Well, Central Europe, no point in going to a club before 2 a.m. So I'm not impressed. It's only 1:30. I have.
You have. Where?
It is a fun city.
Damn.
At least it was when I went. I'm not gonna say the year. Anyway.
Yeah. I've never been to Europe.
Pay the bills, buddy.
Yeah, I've never been. All right, we are brought to Light Years Podcast is brought to you by Factor. This holiday season, we still got a month left. You are looking. I am looking for a nutritious, flavorful meal to fuel you on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you eat well for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. Factor isn't just for dinner. Count on extra convenience any time of the day with an assortment of 55 plus add-ons to suit various preferences and tastes. Choose from quick breakfast items, which is what I need and love. Lunch to go, grab-and-go packs, and ready-to-drink cold-pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. Head to factormeals.com/lightyears50, lightyears50, and use code lightyears50 to get 50% off. That's code lightyears50 at factormeals.com/lightyears50 to get 50% off.
Okay, let's get to the next ones. Appreciate everyone here.
I love when people text me like, should we trade for Mikal Bridges? I'm like, guys, I don't.
By the way,
I don't.
26 years old? I'm willing to give up picks in 5 years for him, because
is he getting traded?
Probably not, but to me, it's more about the guy you're acquiring and how old they'll be when you're giving up those picks than anything else. To me, maybe I'm a little more conservative on this than you guys. So, Rowan, what's up, man?
What up, guys? I got 2 points for you, but first, Kojo is the same as Wanamaker. Every time he dribbles for 20 seconds, every possession, I want to jump off my balcony. But anyway, I can't handle everyone's fake trades being Wiggins and Kuminga for a wing or a guard or whatever. We can't take our only 2 wings of size and trade them for 1 wing. It's just we're going to have the same problems. And so for me, I feel like that's such a distraction. I feel like the only option is to ship out CP3, Kuminga. I don't even care what you attach to it. Strictly because we're seeing it. He doesn't provide anything for this team. He doesn't do any, at least he doesn't provide anything we need. He makes us smaller and slower. And by doing that, we're worse on defense and we run an extremely anemic offense. And so it's you can't be tiny and slow. You just get your ass beat, especially in the playoffs. And so it's we're wasting $30 million of potential productivity on freaking CP3. He's the one that's got to be gone. That's, I feel how I feel. And then the other thing that I keep thinking about, and I've thought about it more this year than any other, is a strange team building issue that we have. And that is our bullpen of bigs. And if you could see me, I'm using air quotes for bigs.
Sure.
we got 3 guys, and they're ostensibly, the same thing. They all have the same weakness, and that is they're undersized and they're not a scoring threat. Like, we have to lead the league in, like Steph, our star player dropping the ball off for our big who can't finish kind of the open layup. And so it's just like, I don't know, like, it's thinking about the Giants, thinking about any baseball team. You just can't have a bullpen where every dude is the exact fucking same. And so it's like, could you imagine if we had like
throwing 92 with a slider? Nice.
Literally just over and over. It's like, it kills me. And so it's like, and it's hard because like, I freaking love Looney. I love Trace, our new boy, but in reality, it like might be Loon that needs the upgrade to literally anybody that's 7 feet. Because in reality, it's like, could you imagine if we had Zubac or we had like Hartensong or Hartensang? I can't even say that
Hartenstein
name. Anyone like that, like those dudes that can finish around the rim, provide rim protection, and like are decent passers, move the ball. Like we'd have 5, 6, 7 more wins this year. Let's be real.
We would indeed have more wins if we had better players, Rowan. I agree. No, I appreciate the call.
Myself, because I'm cutting you off. Okay, but I was gonna have a Chris Paul take. He's right. Isn't this game kind of the epitome of this team runs so much smoother for 43 minutes without him because Steph is on ball. Blah, everyone knows this. Steph is on ball. You don't have 2 guards. But then you come down the stretch, and I'm talking specifically on offense, and I think this is why Steph and Draymond were so excited about having him on board, and same with Steve, is that the last 5 minutes there, like, they just couldn't get any offense because they only had one guy who could dribble the ball, right? So, like, even if they had put Kuminga in, which is what I wanted, but that doesn't help you create any offense. And that's kind of why they wanted Chris Paul in the game. And like, isn't that kind of the problem with this team, is that, like, they just can't have 5 guys, right? Like, they just, it's all the time. It's like, all right, this matchup, it's that matchup. And then when you always run a 50-50 coin flip matchup, you're going to be wrong half the time. That's kind of the point of the of matchup hunting, right?
And also, you don't really have a coach who's a matchup hunter by nature anymore.
Definitely, right?
So, like, there are other coaches who could get more wins out of this team, although it's debatable if it leads you anywhere, like a title. But Steve's definitely not a matchup hunting coach in general. The one thing I think everyone agrees, first choice to trade is Chris Paul, like, just for fit reasons. Not that he's played poorly or anything, just like, I don't know, man, he's 6 feet tall. I'll put in air quotes. He's 6 feet tall. He's not 6 feet tall. Like, it's obvious. I think the general point that should be made is any trade, you're going to probably have to give up someone you're not in love with giving up. You know what I'm saying? So whether that's Wiggins, whether it's throwing Moody in with Kuminga, whether it's throwing Pods into a trade, you're probably going to have to give up someone you don't want to give up to get that difference maker. So I don't know. Wiggins was thrown out by Bill Simmons, which is why most people are mentioning him today, but it doesn't really matter, so go many different directions. All right, let's get MT up here. Probably not that MT, but
I was going to say.
You guys hear me?
Yeah. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So, like, karmically, spiritually, there's a part of me that wonders if this is, like, actually good. Like they get embarrassed, like, in such, like, horrifying fashion, like, over and over and over again. Because in hindsight, like, some of the arrogance from the summer was sort of gross. I think a little bit. It's like, we don't need a center. It was all Jordan Poole's fault. It was like interview after interview, you know what I mean? So it's like, maybe they kind of need to get kicked in the teeth in order to learn a lesson, because one of the main things I'm learning from, like, watching these games is that fundamentally, like, every single problem from the Lakers series is still a problem. Like, Steph and Draymond can hoop, right? GP2 can hoop, but he's always hurt. Clay and Looney, like, it kind of might be over, or if it's not over, like, you can't expect, like, the championship, like, kind of level of performance from them again. And Wiggins, like is approaching like Ben Simmons territory. He's not there, but like he's like staring down the barrel like a little bit. You know what I mean? And Kuminga isn't ready. You know what I mean? So all of those things were problems during the Lakers series, and there's still problems. And like we got a summer of like how like everything's going to be different. You know, so I think it's good. Like they should lose like the next 10, and maybe that'll be good for everybody.
Dude, that's I don't know. That's probably the way to end it because I can't disagree with a word you're saying. Honestly, it's real. It's where we're at. We're gonna end it on that.
We're gonna end that one. That's a great one, MT. Appreciate you. We got to call back.
Appreciate you. All right, we'll be back Monday night, everyone. There's no Warriors game, but we're gonna do a off day session. We'll have some fun with it. We'll get the trade machine fired up.
Let's go.
Let's do it, guys.